So to find the zeros of this, we need to factor. So we need to test some factors out. And we use the remainder theorem. So we're looking for a remainder of 0. So plugging into our f, we're going to try 1 and -1 to start. So 1, if I plug that in, I end up with 3 plus 7 minus 3. That's equal to 0. That indicates that x minus 1 is one of the factors. So that's all I need. I just need one factor. I could have tried 3 or -3, or I could also use the rational factors, but we want to try to avoid the rational factors. So in this case, we're just going to start with the x minus 1. So I'm going to use my synthetic division and break this down. So 3, 7, -7, -3. So I end up with -3 minus, I end up with -10. Subtract that, I end up with -3. That's going to give us 0. So that means then that my factors are going to look like this. So x minus 1, and I have a remaining factor of 3x squared, and this is from these three terms, plus 10x plus 3. Okay, so I'm going to factor that to quadratic. It's got a leading coefficient. So I'm going to use 3x squared and 3. So using the 9x squared, I know that this has to be multiply to 9 and add to 10. So it's going to look like this. Factoring out the common factor, I get x plus 3. Along this axis, I get x plus 1. So my factors then look like this. X minus 1, 3x plus 1, and then x plus 3. Now, since I'm solving for zeros, I want to know where this is equal to 0. Well, once I make it equal to 0, I can solve this. The x's that make this equal to 0 are what make the brackets equal to 0. So x equals 1, x equals -1/3, and x equals -3. So the zeros are going to be at 1, -1/3, -3. If I were to kind of sketch this graph out, I know it crosses at 1, -3, and somewhere around there, -1/3. The leading coefficient's positive, so I know it's got to go up like this, come down, and then something like that. For nature of roots, we're talking about the discriminant. The discriminant is going to be the part that is inside the square root of the quadratic formula. So it's b squared minus 4ac. So plugging that in, I'm going to get -4 squared minus 4 times a times c, which is +8. So I end up with 16 minus, this works out to be 160. That's equal to -144. This is less than 0. Now, if the discriminant is less than 0, we have 0 solutions. Okay, so this is the discriminant is less than 0. This means that we have 0 solutions. Okay, so nature of roots means discriminant and the number of solutions involved.